Where exactly does Jurgen Klopp rank, in your opinion, as to the question of where does he rank in the best managers of the Premier League era? Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another video. Yes, today's video going to centre around Jurgen Klopp. It's a video that I've been debating about doing for a while and was going to save it till the end of the season when, of course, he leaves Liverpool. But I thought, why not right here, right now, in the midst of an international break, to kind of throw out this debate yet again. Several weeks ago, Jurgen Klopp announced that he would be leaving Liverpool Football Club at the end of the season. And it came as a massive shock. It came completely out of the blue. No one was expecting it. But the reality of the situation is that a new era will begin at Liverpool at the end of the season when Jurgen Klopp is set to leave the club after hopefully what is going to be a very historic and phenomenal season ahead as we head towards the run-in of this current Premier League campaign. Fingers crossed it all works out well and good for Liverpool, especially in my humble opinion, with obviously me being a Liverpool fan. But the underlying question and the underlying debate that has been brewing ever since has been, where exactly does Jurgen Klopp rank in terms of the best Premier League managers of all time? We're going to be talking about Jurgen Klopp, his reign at Liverpool, and maybe just trying to answer that question from my personal opinion. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. Also, get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below. So please do get involved down there on this particular debate. Let me know about your thoughts and comments and opinions on Jurgen Klopp and where he ranks amongst the best managers in the Premier League era and so on and so forth. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk this Jurgen Klopp debate. Look, very sad still that Jurgen Klopp is going to be leaving. I'd be sort of hoping for some sort of U-turn, but that doesn't seem to obviously be possible. So very sad that he's obviously going to be leaving. Sad that obviously he doesn't get to see out the remainder of this kind of refresh and rebuild of a project that obviously he managed the first stage of, and now he's got to manage the second stage of. And now he's laid the foundations for someone to come in and build upon them for the future, for the many years to come. And fingers crossed again that that man to come in is Xabi Alonso. But that's another debate for another day. When he did announce that he was leaving, a lot of rival fans, as much as the banterous ones obviously wanted to banter Liverpool. Some of the ones that actually were smarter were sort of like happy that he was going for obvious rival reasons, but obviously was sad and disappointed to lose a competitive rival, a competitive figure, and of course a complete character that the Premier League and Liverpool were going to miss in Jurgen Klopp. But it did throw out an interesting debate as to where does Jurgen Klopp rank amongst the best managers in Premier League history. Now, for me, I would say he's in the top 5, and that could potentially go higher depending on obviously what is to come about of Liverpool's season going forward. We already have a League Cup under our belts. There is still the Premier League title to obviously play for, and of course the Europa League, which Liverpool are still heavy favourites in. So if Liverpool were to go on and win those other two competitions as well as the one we've already won, the Premier League especially will be a massive, massive factor in Klopp's favour for maybe pushing him higher in the list. For me, he's in the top 5. And when I say top 5, I basically mean he's behind the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, obviously, Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, and Arsene Wenger. And then I think you can maybe make a claim that 5 should belong to Jurgen Klopp. Now, it's horrible as me to say. I would love to say that he's ranked higher. I'd love to say that he's going to be ranked above those men. And, you know, again, if he does go on and win another Premier League title this season, which I'm still not putting Liverpool as complete favourites for, but they are still obviously within the title race, it could propel him above maybe an Arsene Wenger, say, or maybe above a Jose Mourinho. I think there is cause for debate there. But what I am going to say is I'm going to try and be open, fair and honest about this, which is why I have ranked him 5th. Sir Alex Ferguson goes without saying. As horrible as it is for me to say, as a Liverpool fan admiring a Manchester United manager, he is clearly and obviously the best manager in the Premier League history. Manchester City's Pep Guardiola, second with what he's managed to achieve at the club, the trebles he's won, whether it be domestically or the major trebles that he won last season in terms of the Champions League as well as the FA Cup and the Premier League. Absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, it remains to be seen if those cheating allegations and those 115 charges are made against Manchester City and whether they stick or not to a significant level, and then maybe we can have a debate even further as to maybe whether Jurgen Klopp goes above Pep Guardiola or not. Obviously that kind of depends, and it all kind of depends on whether they're found guilty or not, and then we can have a whole wider debate over that at all. But for me, Jurgen Klopp does rank 5th, and you know, it'd be easy for me to sit here and say he's been a bit unlucky. It'd be easy for me to say he's been a bit unlucky in terms of, you know, he's come up against a Manchester City side under Pep Guardiola. A Manchester City side heavily inflated with bottomless pits of money. A Manchester City side that have got the best manager in the world. A Manchester City side that have pushed Liverpool have pushed City to the end. A Liverpool side that have missed out on a couple of Premier League titles by mere 1 or 2 points at the expense of Liverpool, and at the obviously gratitude of Manchester City, who went on to win the Premier League titles in that season. Even going above Premier League status to Champions League and to European level, coming up against solid Real Madrid sides with all that Champions League heritage on their side and everything. It'd be easy for me to make it that kind of excuse. And I think they have to be taken into account to a very small and minimal level. But how far back do you go? Like, could the Sir Alex Ferguson era have been even more successful than it already was, had he not, you know, been drawn the short straw, so to speak, in the year that Porto knocked him out the Champions League back in 2004? What about the years that they come up against a Pep Guardiola Barcelona that was ranked to be one of the best sides of modern times? Like, how far back do you go on this? It'd be easy for me to comment and say Jurgen Klopp's been dealt a rough hand there in terms of unfortunateness to where he's been drawn against in certain domestic cups, in certain Champions League draws, and as well as obviously bare minimal fractional margins, talking very fine margins of error when it comes to Premier League titles and certain games and things of that nature. So it'd be easy for me to say all of that stuff, but for me, top 5 is where this man manages. And look, I want to put him higher. Of course I do. He's a Liverpool manager. He's given me some of the best times of any Liverpool manager in my lifetime, barring, of course, you know, the likes of Rafa Benitez and that incredible night in Istanbul, for example. But in terms of recent times, this guy has been it. He's been the be-all and end-all of Liverpool and making them a real force again and challenging the likes of Manchester City. And he's going to be remembered, and to Liverpool fans, he'll be remembered as an all-time great. And maybe me putting him above where I think where I hope he would be, to a Liverpool fan might be something that is entirely considered, and to a Liverpool fan entirely normal and rational. But to rival fans, of course, they're going to obviously fight their corner, and rightfully so. And that is why I put him 5th, because I think that is kind of an area where a lot of rival fans may agree upon. Some fans may see lower. Some fans, mainly maybe Liverpool fans, may see him higher. But I think 5th, considering the ones that I've put ahead of him, is a considerable place to be. The only issue that we, of course, have is that later on down the line, I don't think history is going to be too kind to Jurgen Klopp. I want to sit here and I want to wax lyrical about his achievements. I want to wax lyrical about the amount of finals he's gotten us to, the sort of moneyball sort of system that Liverpool go through when it comes to transfers, and that we don't necessarily splash the cash on 80 million for every other signing. We've had to obviously build up to that in order to be able to spend that kind of money on the likes of, you know, your Virgil van Dijk's, which was a one-off, your Alisson Becker, again, another sort of one-off, and then your Naby Keita, 50 million, didn't really work out, and then, of course, your Darwin Núñez, your 65 to 85 million. I want to wax lyrical about all of them achievements and what we've, of course, done, and the trophies that we've won and everything, but later on down the line, history will not be so kind to Jurgen Klopp, especially when fresher face managers are going to come in and they're probably going to have a better time of it in that kind of era than what Jurgen Klopp has had. What I mean by that is maybe later on down the line, Pep leaves and City go through a bit of transition in which they're obviously trying to get to terms with a new manager and maybe a new setup and maybe trying to go along with the times. Maybe it will be a matter of circumstance in terms of obviously a newer face manager being above Jurgen Klopp. And Liverpool fans will talk about his great achievements and how he took them from a mediocre 8th place team to fighting on multiple levels, to fighting on different fronts of competitions, to getting them through to finals, taking Premier League title races down to the wire with Manchester City by 1 or 2 points. It won't reflect kindly on Jurgen Klopp, because at the end of the day, they'll look at his titles and everything that he's won and gone, well, you've only won 1 Premier League title, you've only won 1 Champions League, you've only won 1 FA Cup, you've won 2 League Cups, you've won a Super Cup, you've won a Community Shield, you've won a Club World Cup. One of each for a manager that you rate so highly is not enough. And I agree to a level. I agree to an extent that he's not won enough. And like I say, I think there are certain mitigating circumstances that you have to take into account by the barest of minimum. But to Liverpool fans, to me, he will always be remembered as the guy that took us from mediocrity to being back to the top, being top contenders again. Being top contenders again, not just for the Premier League title, but for multiple different cups and competitions as well as the Champions League, as well as getting far constantly in the League Cup and everything. That will be what I remember him for, and it doesn't really matter to me personally what other rival fans think of him. I know that obviously people like to have debates as to comparing managers with other managers of different eras and different clubs and different times and everything. And I 100% get that, and I'm expecting that to happen, especially when he's gone. I'm really much anticipating and expecting a lot of rival fans to banter Liverpool about this is, and they already do, to be fair, they already do, in which they basically go, this is your manager who is the greatest manager you've ever had, and yet you've only got 1 Premier League title to show for it. You've only got 1 Champions League to show for it. You've only got 1 FA Cup to show for it. You've only got 4 major titles to show for it, 4 major cups to show for it. Yeah, because, and again, I can go on about the mitigating circumstances. I can go on about Manchester City. I can go on about Real Madrid. I can go on about unfortunate cases of fixture congestions, and I can go on about different other factors and things, but they won't listen. They won't listen, and nor really should they. Nor really should they care. But to me, this will be a manager I love, respect, and adore. Goes down as a Liverpool legend, in my opinion, and as far as what Premier League managers go, will be in the top 5. By the end of the season, we'll be in the top 5 managers of all time. Could be higher, like I say, if obviously he wins another Premier League title. If he wins the Europa League as well, I think that only boosts his chances as well of going higher a little bit as well. Competing on different fronts, like we say, is always difficult. We've seen it the past couple of years with Liverpool and Manchester City fighting on different fronts. It's not easy at all. We've also seen treble winning seasons happen in the past, such as in Manchester United, for example. So we get that and we understand that. And of course, he could also get higher, depending on obviously what happens with the Manchester City charges. But I think that is for maybe a debate for another day. I think obviously if the 115 charges are brought out against Manchester City and the majority of them stick, and they have been found to have cheated, then yeah, we probably can have another conversation about ranking Jurgen Klopp higher than where he currently is. So I'm all good for that. Like I say, top 5 for me in terms of Premier League all time. I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. And like I say, history won't be too kind to Jurgen Klopp from a rival fan's perspective. But overall, who cares? Overall, who cares as far as at Liverpool? I know what he did for my club. I know how he did it step by step to raise the standards of Liverpool Football Club, to obviously raise the competitive nature of Liverpool Football Club and to get them back to competing yet again. I know what he did. I don't need any rival fans telling me about my club, my manager. So I'm happy about it. I'm happy with where he currently is right now, 5th. And I do think, like I say, it is an interesting debate, and it's only going to be one that's only going to stir more so when he does leave, and obviously when new managers come in and they start winning their own trophies and things of that nature. So I understand where this is going, and I understand, and I'm ready for the kind of backlash and fight in this kind of debate. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Jurgen Klopp? What do you make of him being one of the best managers of all time in the Premier League era? Let me know what you guys think and feel. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on this particular topic. We'll make for great interest to reading, I'm sure, down below. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.